Kamul. Today is my English version of The Power of Change. Last week, I was talking about the language and thinking. And I've mentioned that language is the spoken thinking, or language is the other side of thinking. And we have given an example about the terms and how the terms connected to the meaning of those terms and names, and how the meaning is connected to those terms will give stability of the values, morals, and others. And we have given an example about Rabb, which is very close to the word Lord, and Ilah, which is very close to God. In the Arabic meaning of these two terms in Islam, where those two terms have got a specific meaning in the Arabic language. And I have already shown that the first 5 verses revealed to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the first five verses revealed to him sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which say, "Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq," read by the name of your Lord. Bismi rabbik. And how this 5 verses is the declaration of his prophecy. There is no conflict or contradiction or any way to criticize the false godhood of the disbelievers of Mecca. These 5 verses. اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق, read by the name of your Lord. خلق الإنسان من علق, created the human being from clinging cloth. اقرأ وربك الأكرم, read by the generous and most giving, your Lord. الذي علم بالقلم, who taught by the pen or the pencil. علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم, he taught the human being, he taught him what he doesn't know. So all of these verses, there is nothing to do with anything, even in the mission. Although these verses showed that there is a new religion, a new way of life, there will be conflict. That's exactly what happened when Waraq ibn Nawfal listened to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He told him what happened, and then he told him that your people will fight you, and your people will kick you out. They will push you out. They will force you to leave Mecca. And that's what happened. So this is an indication about the meaning of the terms. The meaning of the terms in the Arabic language. In order to understand the meaning, we have to go to the native Arabic language and see the meaning. So the connection between the meaning and the terms should be there. We should not change the meaning of specific terms, because that would be stability of everything. Not only in the religious and Islamic terms, but in any terms in our life. There is specific terms in our life, we use it, we cannot change it. Because those terms in the form of names, for example, man and woman, there are terms. Child, term. Now we come to any discipline or any field. Computer is a term. Radio is a term. TV is a term. And a name. All of these names got a specific meaning connected to them. Right. So now we know that there is an impact of this meaning in life. There is a practical meaning. There is a practice of this meaning in life. As we have said, our word, which is, there is no God, no deity but Allah, there is no God but Allah, La ilaha illallah, that the impact of it, submit yourself to Allah completely. That's the impact of it. So once you say it, this is like a consent between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then you have to submit yourself to Allah and follow the guidance of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in what in the revelation he received, Quran and his own teachings. And this is the second part of testimony, which is وَأَشْهَدُ أَنَّ مُحَمَّدَ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ. I bear witness that Prophet Muhammad is his messenger. Right. Now, this is in fact an introduction to the, I would say, the thinking, the proper thinking, or the strategy of thinking. Now, we know that any religion came from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, came to change the false ideas in the life of a human being, of the people. At the same time, to correct the strategy of thinking, to correct the way of thinking they have. Now, every message throughout the history, they tell the people how to receive facts and how to search for those facts. So the human being, in order to know those facts, he has to go to a reliable and correct source to receive those information. Now, we have to go back to the questions I've told you about, the big questions which every human being will ask on earth. Those questions which I've told you about at the beginning, about 2-3 months ago, that the answer of those questions is the keys of happiness. Okay, what are those questions? Question number 1, who brought me on earth? Question number 2, who am I? What I'm doing on earth? Question number 3, what is this universe, the huge universe I can see? Question number 4, what is this life with all the channels, controversy, changing, variety? What is, question number 6, what is the death? Why we do die? Every living creature will die. Question number 7, where shall I go after death? These are the questions every human being on earth will ask. And I have told you, I need to repeat it again. The human nature has got deep-rooted. These questions, they are very deep-rooted inside the human nature. But the human nature can be changed, distortions, and even removed and dead completely. Maybe accumulation of so many things, so it will not see the signs of the guidance. But the human nature is very, very unique and very strong. It can be alive again, can be reactivated again. Allah made it like this. And that's why when people misguided and then they deviate from the straight path, Allah sent messengers to call them again. Worship your Lord alone. That's in the whole history. So the mankind history is a cycle of guidance and misguidance, cycle of straight path and deviation. So when the people deviate from the straight path, Allah sends them messenger, call them again to the straight path. They stay in the straight path for some time. Then due to so many factors and circumstances, they change and they deviate. Allah sends another messenger, and so on, until the last messenger, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, came. The last one. So those questions, the answer of them is there. We have the answer of every single question. And every single question, the answer of it is a key of happiness. And I've told you before that the master key of all of those is the purpose of life. Why I am here, what I am doing, I am here. And we know the answer as Muslims. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us to worship Him. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. That verily I created the jinn and the human being to worship me alone. That's roughly translation of the verse. Good. All right. Now, the answer of these questions, not only the keys of happiness, but also it is the frame of the proper thinking, the correct thinking, as well as it is the shield of the human being against any negative things. At the same time, it is a protective layer, or it is a protection of a human being from any thoughts and invasions. Good. Right. Let me now try to just go further. What are the source of thinking? First of all, we have already defined thinking. Thinking is a mental process, mental activities, many activities of the mind during the awakeness, when the man is awake. So we are thinking. We cannot avoid thinking. We automatically think, every one of us, at any time while we are awake. When we sleep, probably our dream may be sort of thinking, but we don't think. And as a Muslim, we are responsible about our actions when you are awake, not when you sleep. Right. Okay. We know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the Allah gave us the qualification which needed by every human being to receive the guidance from Allah. Every human being. This qualification is very necessary and important for any human being to receive the signs from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to receive the information from Allah. These are السمع والأبصار والأفئدة in Arabic. السمع, hearing. الأبصار, sight. الأفئدة means the awareness tools, including the heart. Because the word fuad in Arabic language, there is no close a translated word for it. I couldn't find it. Probably it is the awareness where you, what shall I say? It is the conscious tools. You have it. So these are the three. Every human being on earth has them. Human being doesn't need PhD or master degree or qualification to know the Quran and to know the teaching of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and to know the revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not necessary. The qualification is these three qualifications, which every human being has. The same thing, those qualifications will receive everything from external, from the environment, from outside. So be affected. It will affect us, whatever we see or hear or interact with our heart and our internal word. Okay, so what are the factors of thinking? What are the sources of thinking? Thinking is like a machine. We say grinder, then whatever you put in the grinder for beans or anything, then the outcome will be a powder of the things you grind it. So the thinking will not work without those factors. We don't know all the factors, but we know some of them. Those factors are very essential for thinking. I've just listed out those factors, which everybody will know actually. By the way, I didn't go to any reference when I'm talking to you now. I'm talking about natural knowledge. Everybody knows. I'm going to talk about essential skills, life skills everybody will need. So I'm not even if I'm going to explain some of scientific facts, it will be very plain and simple English, inshallah. Simple language, inshallah ta'ala. So I'm talking to you so everybody can listen to me about those topics, which is very important and essential to everybody, every one of you. Okay, let me now, I've listed out some of the factors or sources of thinking. Number one, thoughts that come to you. We don't know how, but there is thought come to you. If you are awake, there is invasion of thoughts, negative thoughts and positive thoughts. They come to you, no doubt. Every human being on earth will have that. Those who they receive those negative thoughts, respond to them, reject them, ignore them, and those who they receive the negative thought and think of them, leave them there, they will accumulate it and they will become stress and load. And that's the unhealthy situation of the human being because of thoughts. All of these sources, we have a way to get rid of them. We have a way to control them. I will tell you this, inshallah, in the near future as we are going to discuss the mental health or mental well-being, inshallah ta'ala. Thoughts is number one. Good. I would just like to see the time. Right? I don't want to spend more than half an hour or so. Thoughts is number one. Number two, the daily event, daily activity. As I have said, whatever you see, whatever you hear, whatever you interact with your heart and your feeling, emotions, all of these will affect you. All of these are sources of thinking. They are elements through which thinking will interact and process. Daily event, right. Number three, the past. With the memory. What happened in the past, it will come to you. You will remember it. The bad memory or the good memory. The bad memory, when they came to you, some people occupied by their bad memory, occupied by the past. The past ruined their present time. There are so many just living in the past. Past is finished. Will never come back again. Something in the past, but still they remembered. Still they leave the past as if it is present time. There are so many. They came to me when I was having my office in city center, and many of them, they were complaining. They were actually under stress because of these past memory. They say they couldn't get rid of it. As I've told you, there is a way to control the past memory. There is a way to push it away. Always there is a way, inshallah. We will tell you about this as we are coming through, inshallah. So the past and the memory, either good or bad, is a part of a source of our thinking. That's number three. Number four, the future and our goals, our task we want to achieve is again a part of our thinking. Sometimes the future, if it's extended in our imagination, it will ruin our present time. It will come and it will invade us. We will be occupied by hopes, wishes. There are so many people living in this way. If they are not realistic, because we always have hope. We would like to do something, inshallah. So we have to plan and then go further. But you cannot live in the future while you are in the present. Future is not there yet. You will reach to it, inshallah. You can just follow it. But some, they are dreaming in the future. And the future will be a part of their present time, and they will be occupied with their future goals and tasks and hopes, and that prevent them to continue their present time and to succeed. This is a real problem, and I have seen it with so many people. They need to organize their thought, and there is a way always to control this. That's number four. Number five, learning. When you learn anything, it is a part of thinking. Anything whatsoever. When we say learning, I don't mean through reading and writing. Reading and writing is some tools of learning, but learning is much, much wider. You learn so many things through your hearing, the advices, the instructions. You don't need. You're not writing or reading anything. You just receive them if you do something practical. So learning, in fact, is a very wide word and term. Anything you learn. Sometimes you learn morals. You learn feeling. So it's more than that. When you learn something, it's a part of thinking. So that's number 5. Now, this learning, sometimes they translate it in Arabic language, wrong translation. They translate it as education. Well, education is learning through educational institutions like schools, universities, colleges, and so on. But learning is more than that. So in Arabic language, they translate the word learning in education, which is wrong, because in education you receive information, most of it through reading and writing. Good. So learning is very important. Now, learning is the first characteristic feature. If you remember, after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created Adam, I've told you, after the creation, وَعَلَّمَ آدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا. The capability, the ability of continuous learning. I've told you about that. And from learning, the development, creativity, and so on. So learning is the first characteristics Allah showed to us subhanahu wa ta'ala after the creation of Adam. So this is a very big and strong power of a human being, learning. Right. Then we come to the problems. Any problem, either social problems, financial problems, educational problems, mental problems, any problem which is an issue, a complicated issue, need to be solved. This is the problem. These are a part of thinking as well. And sometimes a social problem can occupy your life, and you can't think in anything else but this problem. And that happened. It happened for those, either marriage problem or family, domestic problem. Sometimes occupied your life, and you cannot do anything. They live in it like a prison. It is a part of thinking as well. I'm talking now about the sources of thinking, elements of thinking, factors of thinking. As I have said, this is something we know, but we don't know everything. We don't know all the sources of thinking. Thinking is there. We have to think as well as we are a human being. This is very unique activity and characteristics of a human being. But these are some I've just listed out. Maybe you have more than that, but I've just listed out which is very well known to everybody. Problems. I want to say, and always have said that, every problem got solution. That's my slogan. I put it down in my lectures, and I put it down in my workshops. I write it down. I put it there in one of the slides if I have a presentation, or sometimes I stick it on the wall and everybody can see it. When I talk about anything, I've given so many workshops about children, behavior modification, about early childhood, about a family. I've got a program, they call it Family First, so I put this one. So everybody knows that there is a solution for every problem. And I mean it. There is a solution for every problem. Inshallah, when I come for the life essential skills, I'm going to talk about problem solving strategy. Right. Can we stop here? Now it's about almost half an hour. I will say Assalamu alaikum then, and I will see you after 7 o'clock, inshallah, to finish thinking. I'm talking about the sources of thinking. I have mentioned the thoughts, then the daily events, daily activity, then the past and the memory, and the future and the task and goals, and learning and problems. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.